So they'll be calling you a radical, real important video. The mink farms, the coronavirus, the salmon counts. I just got off the phone with both Tims. I called them, Martin called me, Kioki called. I called him. Oh yeah, the dry lake, blue sky, winds blowing. Dry lake. So, the mink farms and the Covid-19 mink farms are right there up Weber Canyon for the most part. Most of them are up there in Morgan. So stay with me. This is important because now we knew it was starting to show up mink this summer. So I'm friends with several of the mink farmers, and I give them shit. Oh, do I give them shit? Killing little furry animals cannot be very good karma on you. And so anyway, by the way, Larry was a mink farmer, one of my good friends, older. He passed away this spring, and I asked his son. I asked Mitch straight up, well, what killed him? Well, we had to sell the mink. The price crashed last year, and I think he died of a broken heart. Okay. So, but anyway, great guy. But, so, stay with me. This is important stuff. Because the state vet is in there. And the state vet makes a statement. The Farm Bureau is corrupt as hell here. They abuse so-called migrant labor like no other. So he makes a statement, well, we think they just got it from some migrant workers, that's all. Now remember, this is the old meat cutting capital of the world, Utah. It used to be in the day. The swiftly moved up to Millers up in Hiram, and those guys are suing, and they're saying, why did the state not do anything for us? Remember when we had the outbreak in the meat cutters? Big time? Oh, and how will we know? By the way, I was at the clinic yesterday trying to get my teeth done every day because I'm out of money, and a couple $100 they had to work on me. Oh God. But anyway, it's a catastrophe, the labor forces in this country. So the virus in the mink, but there's no worry about it going from the mink. How the fuck does he know? He's the state vet. He don't know shit. You don't know. So 800. So the price of mink crashed, I guess, a couple years. But you got to realize you're talking another government subsidized. The Farm Bureau subsidizes mink farmers, dairy, all the stuff that is fucking toxic. Think about that. Here, fuck what you subsidize. So salmon counts. This is important. So, Tim, I just got off the van. Tim said that they were in the rogue last month. The report's just out. Less than 100 half-pounders. They still had the first year. They make two. So, he said that the Deschutes, the rogue, he verified all these numbers and went over them with me. I said, well, that's 5% of the tenure. So it goes on. And remember, this is probably the most famous fishing guide in all of Oregon, maybe ever. He holds the world record on the biggest steelhead ever caught in 2010. So he says to me, I can't find a picture. I'm on iFish all day, every day. Everybody's talking. No, he says, I haven't seen a picture of a fish caught in the last month. There's a few here and there on the internet, but iFish is a buzz. Everybody says it's a catastrophe, it's a collapse. So we just had a conversation on Columbia. I said, well, the Columbia's reporting 533,000. The year's pretty well over. Get a few more, but he says, they're lying. And I says, well, we know the Armor Engineer lies, but I says, even if they don't lie. Now stay with me. We go back to 2011, 12, 13, 14 record returns. Record numbers on the Chinook. They go to sea for 5 years. So, 2016, we had 1.7 million. 2015. 2016, 1.7 million, 1.4 million, 1.5 million for those 3 years. With projections the next year at 1.7 million, the year following, based on escapement. Now remember, it took them years to say they're dying in the ocean. I set my regression, I set my number 680,000. the first batch back in 2016. Now 2015, they were at 1.7 million, expecting 1.7 million on ODFW, WFW, all of them. Came in right at my number, 680,000. Next year, they set their number at 2.3 million. Based on us getting their number data is good. NOAA, ODFW, WFW, you know, the Oregon State University, you know, all of them. University of Washington. I set my number at 480,000. They set theirs at 2.3 million. Came in at 480,000. Now remember, they're still gill netting and fishing there. Okay, the next year, I set my number at 333,000. They set their number at 2.3 to 2.7 million. Came in at 336,000. I mean, I'm that dead on. Last year, they started to limit gill netting. And it looked like my projection was going to be on right about 280,000. So they started limiting gill netting. Now, I've talked to everybody, including Tim and all the experts up there. I says, well, what about the gill netting when they're good? He says, you can take out half, 50%. And they didn't quit the gill netting till later in the year. And they came in at around 400-something thousand. So really, numbers right on again. This year, no fishing per se. They started some fishing late, but no gill netting. None. The whole fucking year, first time. None. Zero. So everybody I've talked to, including ODFW, WFW, all of them, you can take half. Okay. There you go. 206. Now remember, this is dropped from nearly 2 million to 200,000 in 5 years. That's an acute catastrophe. So now they're reporting more wasting disease in the mule deer here. The mule deer have collapsed here the last few years. Now, wasting disease in the mule deer is an amino acid that gets into the brain. It's similar to mad cow, and it can jump from the animal to the person. I know a guy that it killed here a few years back. You know, he was from Norway, and he was a big Norwegian, and cleaning the deer. Cole, who used to do the football game with me, his grandfather. And so anyway, we should have a moratorium on all hunting for at least a few years, and fishing. This acute catastrophe collapse. So the mink, just like in people, it says it's killing the young ones. I mean, the fact that they're even still freaking farming mink is, well, that's a whole nother dissertation. You know, so, but I'll stay on this. I'll find out. I'll get more from these guys because I know these guys. Talk about a dirty business. Criminal business. I mean, in Canada, and by the way, I talked to people in Canada also too. They says the salmon returns are there are, you know, basically nothing. Again, Tim says he hasn't even seen a picture of a fish caught. And he's out there. He's out there on the freaking ocean every day. I mean, you saw his net videos. You know, so there you have it. Coronavirus in the mink, and just a few hundred of them. That's what they're telling you. I know how they play in this state. The Farm Bureau, the agriculture is corrupt as hell in this state. By the way, we don't consume or eat any, but the taxpayer funds these guys. You know, nobody in Utah buys freaking mink. They sell it in Asia. Just like our milk. I mean, nobody drinks that shit. Yet we're still funding a product that we don't even... That's the fucking dichotomy of the state of Utah. Because their one-party politics comes... With absolute power comes with absolute corruption. By the way, Trump has got fucking... You know, he's on the super steroid. The Balco. Which I was on it also. And I'm telling you, whoa, is he on one? He's fucking wound up. He's gonna lock everybody up. His own cabinet, his own attorney, yeah, he's gonna lock them all up. Fuck. Well, he was already crazier than a fucking bedbug, but fuck now. Oh, he's straight up fucking madman across the radioactive water. But coronavirus, no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. Is from the Fukushima. I just had a conversation with a couple here that were in Okinawa when Fukushima happened, and boy, they were all ears. They wanted to hear they told me some good stuff. So, there's no doubt in my mind. Coronavirus came from a fish in a wet market that a bat ate. Well, it's just like, run light the nights tomorrow night. Run for the cure. why don't we go after the causation? We don't do that in this country. I mean, we leap over, you know. So it's widely pinned down that it came from the wet market, unless it came from the Wuhan lab. If it came from them, you know, by the way, it has ties here. You know, we sure don't talk about that. The Lieber lab, Charles Lieber. How come that's not a big story? But anyway, so I'll find out more on the mink situation, because I know these guys. I have to put some work in it, and thank you everybody's funded this work. I just had my blood work done. I'm waiting for the results. I feel a little bit better today, but I still don't feel right. You know, and so I'll get by with a little help from my friends. Fukushima day 35, and so everybody's been calling me on this coronavirus in the mink, and it's very real because I know these guys and I've talked to them. And it's been happening for the last several months. This summer it was showing up. You know, so it's very real. Oh, and again, it's just in those migrant workers, you know, I mean, just like the meatpacking plant here. I mean, that's what we do here. And I mean, it's disgusting. Fucking the exploitation. So everybody making a living off other people's taxes. Not me. Not me. I could sure use some funding. I appreciate everybody. A little bit of funding to go me a long ways right now with me. I got some work to do. And I'll find out more on this, the mink. But I know for a fact, because I already taught you, it is really in the mink. And like I said, Larry died. He was older. You know, there's been a lot of people here die of coronavirus, and they're not going to say anything. And think about a mink farmer. Come on. You think they're a little bit on the right of the spectrum? You think they're mask wearers? You think they're gonna, loved one's gonna put in the baby? Yeah, I died. They're mink farmers. I mean, come on. They're not gonna tell you if they died of coronavirus. That's what goes on here. Same with leukemia. Nobody's business going to see American manufactured Jesus killing little furry animals. I tell my friends all the time, like, you kill little furry fucking animals for a living, that can't be too good a fucking karma. You know, whoa. Stay tuned. I'll get to the bottom of it.